Right then, this is my adventure at the Dead Sea in Jordan. The Dead Sea is a very interesting bit of water as it's very salty. It's so salty if you just float in it, you can't even stand up in the water as it actually knocks you off your feet. Now, even though it's called a sea, this is more of a large lake really. Now, there's 3 different sides to the Dead Sea. The Israel side, the Palestine side, which is controlled by Israel, and the Jordan side. In this video, I'm going to be visiting the Jordan side. So I'll start in the capital city, which is Amman. And trying to work out what minibus to take to get here is a bit confusing because the minibuses literally start in a random lay-by on a dual carriageway. There's no signs to tell you these are the minibuses you need to take. You literally have to just know. It's ridiculous. Now, there are some tourist attraction buses going to the Dead Sea doing a tour, but I'm not interested in doing tours. When I travel, I like to do it by local transport. So after I got on the minibus, I then had a 40-minute wait for the bus to fill up with passengers as the driver will not start without a full bus. This minibus took me to a little village, which is the end of the line. I still had another 8 miles to get to the Dead Sea, but sadly there's no local transport to get there. So for that last part, annoyingly, I had to get a taxi, something which I hate doing. Now, if we take a look at the Dead Sea resorts, there's not really that many of them. Considering this is a unique place and somewhere tourists want to go on a holiday, there's very little here. It's literally no houses at all. Nobody lives here. It's literally just a couple of beach resorts plonked in the desert. I'm surprised there's no houses. I would have thought it'd be a place that expats would move to. But no, there's literally nothing here, which is why there's no public transport to it. The only thing here, other than the resorts, is one very small shopping centre.
Coronation Street. Not much to a shopping centre. No. Oh, there you go. Wow, that's a piece of shit. 1 minus, not -1. Okay, this shopping centre wasn't that good. Let's go somewhere else.
So then, apart from this one shopping centre, there is nothing else. This means that these resorts are the sort of place where you're expected to be rich tourists using organised events. The idea that you walk here, you go walking in this area and walk between the different resorts is something that just doesn't happen. This made me stand out a lot, and as these resorts do not get any foot traffic, as everyone arrives by taxi, this made them very hard to sneak into. But I managed to sneak into 2 of them. Let's start off with the Movenpick Resort. This is a big international brand of beach resorts. Let's start off by taking a look at the lift, which is a nice Mitsubishi. And let's now go and explore this resort. This resort is pretty big and also quite spread out, making the place feel very similar to Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt. Let's take a look around. So this resort is on a hillside sloping down to the Dead Sea.
How is that not too hot for Mallard? They're used to like temperatures in Scotland and that.
Let's continue down the hillside and take a look at what different features there are in the resort. And there is these swimming pools. After you've been in the Dead Sea, this is a good place to swim to wash off all of the salt. And the temperature of this swimming pool is actually colder than the Dead Sea itself. This resort has also got a funicular, but sadly it is now abandoned.
Oh, shame it's abandoned, that looks good.
And now we go down to where the Dead Sea used to be. So this here was the beachfront, but the Dead Sea has been receding. In the last 30 years, the water level has been going down. And in the last 10 years, it's been going down at a very fast rate. This means that the Dead Sea might eventually disappear, which would be a big shame considering how interesting it is. So if you'd like to visit it, I recommend you don't delay in doing so. So this here was the lowest point on Earth at minus 120 metres altitude, but as the Dead Sea is receding, it's no longer the lowest point.
So you take a look at over there, that was not intended as rock above the sea, that was actually seabed. Look at it, you can actually see that is seabed from the shape of that. So that shows you how far the Dead Sea has dropped over the last 30 years. So here we are at the Dead Sea. There it is. And over there, which country's that? Well, I don't even know what to say about that. That is technically meant to be Palestine, but it's now effectively Israel.
So I walked down this path, which feels like a bit of an afterthought, which I had to put in so that people were able to still get to the water. Now, the further you walk down to the Dead Sea, the warmer it gets. It's like some sort of heat trap. Right down at the water's edge is much hotter than up at reception. And here it is, the Dead Sea. And this here is the new lowest point on Earth at minus 435 metres. So if we take a look at this very rough bit of shoreline, you can see that this wasn't intended as being the main beach area, and there's no point in trying to develop this as the sea will just recede further. So as I've actually sneaked into this hotel, this means I hadn't paid the ridiculous fee for entry, and that fee is £45 just to swim in the Dead Sea. So you might be wondering, why would anyone pay that? Why not just go into the Dead Sea, an area where there isn't a hotel, and go in for free? Well, the answer to that is you need to shower afterwards, because after 15 minutes in the water, it makes your skin hurt. You have to wash off the salt, meaning if you want to go in the Dead Sea, you have to have a source of fresh water. So that means you are paying £45 just for this shower. That has to be the world's most expensive shower. Fucking hell. And one thing I always find interesting is the weird things tourists do just because they're told this is the must-do thing. And in this area is cover yourself with mud. They actually have a mud pot for tourists to take a mud and smother themselves in it. That's just weird. But anyway, it's now time to go swimming in the Dead Sea. Before I came here, I spent £4 on some plastic shoes, as apparently the sea floor has sharp bits and can cut into your feet. And if you have an injury in the Dead Sea, because of the high salt content, it really hurts. So I did the sensible thing of buying my plastic shoes before I came here, because you just know if I was to buy them in the hotel, it'd be a fucking rip-off. Before I came here and everyone's talking about how the salt makes you float, I thought it was just going to be slightly more floaty than the normal sea. I was wrong. This water is so floaty. It's just such a strange experience. You literally cannot stand up in it. And also, it's very difficult to swim in it. And that's because it's so floaty. It sort of moves you into a position where you can't swim.
So then, here I am in the Dead Sea. It feels like I'm going to tip over very easily, but the salt pushes you upwards. If I go on my back like that, it pushes my legs up quite violently actually. And I'm by the rocks, because if you go deep out into the sea, if you go further out, it pushes you up in a way where you can't swim back to the surface. And I've seen quite a few people get stuck. People literally go out and get stuck and can't get back. So it actually pushes you upwards quite violently. I'm holding onto that rock very tight because I don't actually want to go fully out, because you can get stuck. You can't turn onto your front to swim. If you turn onto your front, what will happen is it pushes your legs up so violently that you actually push your face under the water and you could drown. It's actually a bit dangerous, because it pushes you up in such a way you actually can't swim. So if you try and swim out, say I wanted to swim out over to Palestine over there, it'd actually push you up in a way so you literally can't swim. You just get stuck in the water. So it's just weird, because it feels a bit like zero gravity. It literally, I'm just sitting here and I'm floating, but I'm not fully doing it because I haven't let go of that rock, so I don't trust myself to fully float because I don't want to get stuck. But it's very strange. I could recommend coming just to experience it, because it's very weird. Like if I let go of a rock a bit, it pushes you right up in a way where it feels like it's going to drown you. It's a very strange place. There's only about 5 resort hotels on the Jordan side. It's very limited actually. I'm surprised there isn't more tourism here for what it is, but I'm guessing, why would a hotel company invest in building a new hotel if the Dead Sea is going to disappear? It's like all that money invested, we're saying that's not going to last that long. So there's only a few hotels. They're all super overpriced, like crazy overpriced. Because if I try and stand up, it's even standing up a bit, you can see that's still trying to push you upwards. It's very disconcerting. So it does feel like you're going to zero gravity, but as soon as you start to step out of water, you suddenly feel ever so heavy because you've like got used to that sort of zero gravity feel. So stepping out, it makes you feel really wobbly because you get used to like the lack of gravity so quickly. So you see that? That's all salt deposit on that rock. It's all bits of salt. So looking over into Palestine, over there you can see some Israeli resorts also on the Dead Sea. Maybe I'll visit those another time. But sadly there's no Palestinian resorts for Dead Sea, even though that's actually Palestine's land. But hey, shall we not go into that a bit?
So then I now leave the Movenpick Hotel and go along to another resort hotel, which is the Dead Sea Spa Resort, which seems a bit of a generic name. They really just run out of ideas what to name it. Or maybe they're trying to get it on the top of Google listings. Literally call it Dead Sea Resort and nothing else, so it's the first one people click on. I really don't know. The lift is a cone eco disc. So then, let's now go and explore this resort and compare how this one looks compared to the Movenpick. Which of the two do you think is better?
$19.95. So Dead Sea came up to here in 1995, and it's wow, that's going down fast. That is crazy. It's not going to be here for much longer. Like, fucking hell, if you want to see a Dead Sea and experience it, come here quick. So you've got these signs telling you how far it's receded. So that's where it was in 2000. So it's receded that in 5 years. So just up there was 1995. It come down to 2005 where the level was. So you can see it's receding at distance. But then if you look how far it's gone now, it's suddenly receded a lot quicker. That is receding fast. So interestingly, if you look over there, they are building some new resorts. So Crane Air building it. You've got some over there, which I don't know if those are abandoned or if they're still being built. I don't know, but building those resorts, but I'll be honest, with the sea reducing that quickly, I could build it all and find there's no Dead Sea left. Yeah, now you really see it, because that's now 2015, so that's now 20 years of receding. But then all of a sudden from 2015 to 2025, look how that's going down really quick now. What's that gone down by? About 25 metres in 10 years? Yeah, it's sped up, that's massively sped up its receding rate. So that's where it was in 2020, then that's where it is now. So 5 years, yeah, that's dropped suddenly in 5 years. Going from here, if you imagine the water level come up to here, then down to there in just 5 years. Yeah, that's going down far too quick. Oh, look at all the salt deposits. Salt deposits everywhere. Hey, look at all that development. There definitely should be more resorts for what a place this is, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I build them all. But once the Dead Sea disappears altogether.
So we now leave this resort and take a look at the building site next door.
Look at the shit state of that crane. There's no glass in it. There's people in that site, but I'm wondering if that's builders or if that's squatters. I actually don't know. I don't know if that's abandoned. There's like nice building works going on. especially with a crane in that state.
So then, now I go along back into Amman. I managed to flag down a taxi that was driving past and got a taxi back along to the village. The taxi driver seemed very surprised I was actually wanting to take the local bus back into town rather than using a taxi the entire way. When I got back to the village, I didn't have long to wait for the bus to start, as at this end of the route the buses depart before they're full, as the bus picks up passengers en route. Then I'm now back in Amman, and now along to the Hilton Hotel. This hotel is very posh and it's got some glass eco discs.